Good day, everyone. I'm Dulcie Jane M. Altamera. So we are the reporter of Lesson 6 together with Jeremy Arnoza, and we will discuss about the climate change. So we are familiar the term climate change, and we are also aware why this phenomenon happens and its effect has people. For this lesson, we aim to identify the cause of climate change. Second, understand the effect of climate change on the society, illustrate how the community helps in mitigating the hazard caused by the climate change. So what comes into your mind when you hear the term climate change? So climate change refers to the statistically significant change in climate for continuous period of time. So ang climate change, ito ay ang pagbabago ng klima o panahon dahil sa pagtaas ng greenhouse gases na nagpainit sa mundo. Ang pagbabago ng klima o panahon ay dahil sa natural internal process, external forces, and persistent anthropogenic changes in the composition of atmosphere, natural occurrences, act of human being. The cause of climate change that we will discuss today is the natural causes and human activities. So there are different causes of climate change. So first we have volcanic eruption, second orbital changes, and lastly is the carbon dioxide theory. Volcanic eruption are one of the natural cause of climate change. We all know that when the volcanic erupt, it emits different natural aerosols like carbon dioxide, sulfur, crystals, and even microorganisms. So nganong makaingon man ta nga ang pagbuto sa bulkan kay nakapekto or isa sa mga dahilan ng climate change. This is because the volcanic eruption can cause a cooling effect to the lithosphere because its emitted aerosol can block a certain percentage of solar radiation. This cooling effect can last 1 to 2 years. The gases and dust particles thrown into the atmosphere during volcanic eruption have influence on climate. So naay may tabong pagbara sa langit dahil sa gipagawas nga ashes, chemical sa bulkan, ug kaning cooling effect it can last 1 to 2 years. But it could also depend kung unsa ka kusog ang pagbuto sa bulkan. So there are several recorded volcanic eruption that cause climate change. Isa na diri ang Mount Tambora of Indonesia erupted in 1816. Mao ni consider nga pinakadakong bulkan nga ning erupt in human history. Ang pagbuto sa bulkan nag-cause pa gyud siya og snowfall in the northeastern United States in Canada. It affected their agricultural lands, losing crops that cause food storage and increase human mortality. Ang pagbuto sa bulkan sa Mount Krakatoa of Indonesia noong 1883 ug Mount Pinatubo sa Pilipinas noong 1991. Ang pangalawang natural causes na nabanggit ay ang orbital changes. Earth's orbit can cause climate change. This was proposed by the Milankovitch theory. The Milankovitch theory states that as the Earth traveled through space around the Sun, cyclical variation in three elements of Earth geometry combined to produce variation in the amount of solar energy that reaches Earth. The three elements that have cyclical variation are eccentricity, obliquity, precision. So, eccentricity is a term used to describe the state of Earth's orbit around the Sun. The impact of the variation is a change the amount of solar energy from perihelion to aphelion. Ang perihelion, ang ibig sabihin po nun ay ang Earth's orbit o ang Earth ay pinakamalapit sa araw at ang aphelion naman is when the Earth is farthest from the Sun. So kaya nga nakapekto yung eccentricity kasi may chance na malapit ang Earth sa Sun at may chance naman na malayo ang Earth sa Sun. So, ipinapaliwanag sa eccentricity yung shape na nabubuo o yung hugis na nabubuo habang ang Earth ay umikot sa palibot ng araw ng dahil sa gravity. From our solar system, ng dalawang malaking planeta na Jupiter at Saturn, nagkakaroon ng paglayo ang pag-ikot ng Earth sa Sun. Halimbawa, kung dati siya ay pabilog o perfect circle, may chance na yung Earth ay umikot palayo at nagiging pasphere yung kanyang pag-ikot, at ito daw ay nag-cause ng climate change. And if the perihelion occurs during the winters, sinasabi na yung winter ay hindi masyadong ramdam or less severe lang siya. Kasi nga, Earth is nearest the Sun. And if hemisphere naman has its summer, while closest to the Sun, summers are relatively warm. Yan, makikita nyo sa picture ang eccentricity kung paano siya umiikot yung Earth sa Sun. So the second variation is obliquity, the variation of the tilt of Earth axis away from the orbital plane. So makikita nyo sa picture na habang umiikot ang Earth around the Sun, ang Earth din naman ay nagro-rotate on its own. Habang nagro-rotate siya, may chance na mas napapaharap siya sa North Hemisphere or may chance naman din sa South Hemisphere. And the season become more exaggerated, the obliquity changes on a cycle taking approximately 40,000 years. At sabi nga ng academic Emporia, the more tilt means more severe season, warmer summer. And colder winter, this tilt means less severe season, colder summer, and milder winters. So the third and last variation is precession. Precession is the change in orientation of Earth's rotational axis. As Earth rotates, it wobbles slightly upon its axis like a slightly off-center spinning top toy. So just like what I've said lately, habang nagre-revolve or umiikot ang Earth around the Sun, siya ay nagro-rotate din on its own. At sa pag-rotate niya sa sariling axis, may pagkakataon din na para namang trumpo ang Earth. Trumpo na patapos na sa pag-ikot. This wobble due to tidal forces caused by the gravitational influences of the Sun and Moon that cause Earth to bulge at the equator, affecting its rotation. So kaya nangyayari ang ganito dahil na nga sa gravitational influences or sa gravity. Precession is caused by two factors, a wobble of Earth axis and the turning around the elliptical orbit of Earth itself. So, ang carbon dioxide, nag-absorb siya sa part of infrared translation in the air and returns it to the ground, keeping the air, the surface warmer than it would be. If the carbon dioxide did not act like a blanket, mao nang makita nato usahay nga init kayo tungod sa carbon dioxide. Ang kainit sa carbon dioxide, nakaapekto siya sa climate change. So, the next reporter is Miss Arnoza, and she will discuss about the human activities and effect of climate change on society.
Good day everyone, I'm Jeremy Arnoza, person reporter of human activities contribute to climate change. So, human activities, the most influential factor that contribute to climate change are human activities. So, the human activities that the largest known contribution comes from the burning of fossils, fuels, and greenhouse gases, as well as affect climate change by altering incoming. So, we can do things to help our planet to grow, but we also have the ability to ruin it. So, our own activities contribute to climate change. The largest known contribution from the burning of fossil fuels. So, nasa daya ang fossil fuels. So, fossil fuels are made from the composting plants and animals. And these fuels found in the earth crust and contains carbon and hydrogen, which can be burned energy, example kay coal, oil, or crude oil. And then, burning fossil fuels ang pinakadako nga na-contribute sa climate change. Kaya ang fuels mao na yung term na to ginagamit aga-adlaw na activities sa atong life. In burning fuels, nag-produce siya og energy, heat and electricity, and also the power energy. O nang dako siya contribution kay kita nagamit og mga fuels. And then, the greenhouse gases and arrows affect climate change by altering incoming solar radiation and outgoing infrared radiation that are part of Earth energy balance. So, ang greenhouse gases kaya ang gas nga naay property of absorbing infrared radiation ug kani kay nag-compose og carbon dioxide, methane and water vapor. So, in addition, nag-produce po siya og greenhouse effect, changing the atmospheric or properties of these gases, and particles can lead to a warming or cooling of the climate system. Then, next. Since the start of industrial era, about 750, the overall effect of human activities on climate has been a warming influence. So the four principal greenhouse gases, H2O, H4, H2O, and halocarbons. So, since the start of the industrial era, about 750, the overall effect of human activities on climate has been warming. So, the human impact on climate during this era greatly exceeds that the human changes in natural processes such as solar changes and volcanic eruption. So, simula ang mga tao ay naging produkto at naka-invento na kung ano-ano at nagsimula na din ang yung industrial era at ang mga activities na ginagawa ng mga tao. So, ay nakaka-apekto sa ating klima. Sinasabi na mas nakaka-apekto pa ito kaysa sa ibang factors na contribute din sa climate change. So, human activities results in emission of four principal greenhouse gases: carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and the halocarbons, a group of gases containing fluorine, and bromine. These gases accumulate in the atmosphere, causing concentrations to increase with time. So, another activity na ginawa ng mga tao ay ang deforestation. So, deforestation release carbon dioxide and reduce its uptake by plants. So, ang deforestation kaya ang pagputol sa mga kahoy, pagpapatag ng mga kabundukan, ito ay ang mga deforestation. So, ang high methane emission is related to agriculture, natural gas distribution, and landfills. So, high nitrous oxide is also emitted by human activities such as fertilizer use and fossil fuels burning. So, halocarbon gas concentration have increased primarily due to human activities. Principal halocarbons include the chlorofluorocarbon, which were used extensively as refrigeration agents and in other industrial processes before their presence in the atmosphere was found to cause stratospheric ozone depletion. So, the abundance of chlorofluorocarbon gases is decreasing as a result of international regulation designed to protect the ozone layer. So, ang nakapekto ng CFC or chlorofluorocarbon ay ang ozone layer. So, next about human activities is the high level of these gases in the atmosphere contribute to the greenhouse effect. Then, deforestation release carbon dioxide and reduce its uptake by plants. Then, chlorofluorocarbons, which used extensively as a refrigeration agents and in other industrial processes before their presence in the atmosphere, was found to cause stratospheric ozone depletion. So, sa pagdami ng ginagawa ng mga tao, dumadami din yung mga napoproduce na gases. Although yung mga gases na nabanggit ko kanina ay natural gases na high level of these gases in the atmosphere contribute to the greenhouse effect, at kapag tumataas lalo yung mga produce ng gases na to ay tumataas din ang greenhouse effect at lalong lumala yung kanyang epekto sa climate change. So, the high level of carbon dioxide comes from fossil fuels used in transportation and the building, heating, cooling, and manufacture of cement and other goods. So, just what I've said lately, yung carbon dioxide at ibang gases na ito ay mga human activities na naka-apekto sa climate change. Katulad na nga ng burning fossil fuels ay nakasama na sa pang-araw-araw na gawain such as transportation, nilalabas na usok ng mga sasakyan. Next, human activities of ozone, another greenhouse gas that is continually produced and destroyed in the atmosphere by chemical reaction. And halocarbons released by human activities destroy ozone in the stratosphere and of course the ozone hole over in Antarctica. And also the indirectly human have the potential to affect water vapor substantially by changing climate. So, ozone is another greenhouse gases that is continually produced and destroyed in the atmosphere by chemical reaction in the stratosphere. So, human activities have increased ozone though through the release of gases such as carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxide which chemically react to produce ozone. And the halocarbon released by human activities destroy ozone in the stratosphere and have caused by the ozone hole over Antarctica. So katong CFC, very harmful siya kay nagkakos siya ozone deflection at pagkataas ng ozone layer, while water vapor it's the most abundant and important greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Human activities have only a small direct influence on the amount of atmospheric water vapor indirectly. So, humans have the potential to affect water vapor substantially by changing climate. For example, a warmer atmosphere contains more water vapor. So, human activities also influence water vapor though through CH emission because CH undergoes chemical destruction in the stratosphere, producing a small amount of water vapor and aerosols. And last, the effects of climate change and on society. So, the climate change is the water temperatures over time are changing weather patterns and disrupting the usual balance of nature. So, this poses many risks to human beings and all other forms of life on Earth. So, the effect of climate change on society is effects on hotter temperatures. Nearly all land areas are seeing more hot days and heat waves. So, higher temperature increase heat-related illnesses and can make it more difficult to work and move around. So, wildfires start more easily and spread more rapidly when conditions are hotter. Climate change ka na init na kayo. So, more severe storms also the effects of climate change. Changes in temperature causes changes in rainfall. This results in more severe and frequent storms. So, it causes flooding and landslide, destroying homes and communities and costing billions of pounds. So, the increased drought, also the effects of climate change. Water is becoming scarcer in more regions, so droughts can steer destructive and the dust storms that can move billions of tons of sand across continents. So, deserts are expanding, reducing land for growing food. Many people now face the threat of not having enough water on a regular basis. That's all. Thank you.